Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to today's show. This is Kim Greenhouse with It's Rainmaking Time. I am a huge proponent of life extension and a big advocate of the Life Extension Foundation, which is one of the world's largest organizations dedicated to finding scientific methods for addressing disease, aging, and death. It's a nonprofit group out of Florida that funds pioneering scientific research aimed at achieving an indefinitely extended healthy human lifespan. The fruits of this research are used to develop novel disease prevention and treatment protocols. Stephen Joyal, MD, is the Vice President of Science and Medical Affairs at Life Extension, which is the world's leading organization dedicated to extending healthy human lifespan. And for 5 years, he's been a featured speaker at anti-aging conferences worldwide. For example, his recent series of lectures at the Asia Anti-Aging Conference in Bali in 2007 featured mechanisms of aging and top-line strategies with a focus on nutraceuticals for mitochondrial dysfunction, glycation, free radical stress, hormone balance phase 1 and 2, and detoxification. He's a graduate of Dartmouth Brown Program for Medical Education and board certified as an internal medicine doctor in 1997. He also has an undergraduate degree in physics. He's published peer-reviewed scientific journals and health and wellness periodicals for the general public, including the New England Journal of Medicine, Current Drug Targets, CNS and Neurological Disorders, and Arthritis and Rheumatism. He's the author of What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Diabetes, published in 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Stephen Joyal to It's Rainmaking Time. Welcome, sir.
Great to be here.
I really appreciate you being here because this is a subject that is providing so much excitement in the world at the prospect of advancing the life cycle and extending it with supplements and nutraceuticals and herbs. And yet at the same time, I know that there are huge legal challenges with the FDA, challenges with new laws and regulations that are also in parallel running in contrast to the work you're doing. Share with us whatever's in your heart to talk about today about your work at the Life Extension Foundation and some of the exciting things you're finding and the challenging things you're going through.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about our organization. Life Extension has been around for 30 years. In 2010, we'll be celebrating our 30th anniversary. We are really passionate about finding new strategies for people to employ to help them live healthier and longer. We embrace a translational approach, and what that means is we take from basic science, whether it's in nutrition, biology, physiology, biochemistry, and we really incorporate that into strategies used in allopathic medicine, naturopathic medicine, just a whole variety of different strategies and technologies that we think are useful. Of course, a good part of our focus is nutrition, including nutritional supplementation. We know that nutritional supplementation has a pretty wide variety of advantages. Very important, for example, in people that are currently taking pharmaceutical drugs to control their blood cholesterol levels. We know it's also very important to supplement with something called CoQ10, coenzyme Q10, a very important cofactor in a variety of energy-producing reactions in the body. We know that statin drugs, and that's the class of drugs that is very commonly prescribed to people to lower their cholesterol, we know that those class of drugs also deplete the body of CoQ10. We think that's not a good thing, and we know that from our reliance on the scientific literature, our many discussions with opinion leaders, thought leaders in the scientific community. And as an example of that, we have one of the world's leading experts, Dr. Peter Langstone, who is on our scientific advisory board. And Dr. Langstone has published over 80 peer-reviewed scientific publications looking at the value of coenzyme Q10 in helping to support cardiovascular health. So our organization is really about what works, if you will, and we blend together the best of conventional medicine. We've put in nutritional science, cutting-edge technologies in age management medicine, all together really to help support optimal health and hopefully help people live longer.
There's so many supplements that the organization has done research about. Sometimes coming in, I am actually a member of the foundation, and I have my blood work done through your foundation, and I order supplements through it. And sometimes it's hard because it's like going into a store where there's so many choices. How does the public start to narrow down how many to take? I mean, I could take 300 if I wanted to, but how does the public start to focus in on the top 10 or 20 for them?
Well, I mean, we published a number of articles over the years looking at what we think are, the top supplements, nutritional supplements that people should take to help support their health. But I guess the way I'd answer your question is it really is very individualized. People have individual concerns, individual needs, and we also know that in the area of nutritional supplementation, there is a great deal of person-to-person variability in terms of how people respond, as well as their own biochemistry. So we know, for example, that it's important for people to have a general vitamin supplement. But we also know beyond that, there are some key areas that we focus on. We focus on mitochondrial health. The mitochondria are the energy powerhouse of the cell. We know with aging, the mitochondria's ability to generate energy tends to fall off. So we know that there are a variety of nutrients that are very important to support mitochondrial function. I'll mention a few of them. Carnitine is one. Carnitine is an amino acid.
Do you mean acetyl L-carnitine or just L-carnitine?
Well, they're both of use, and they have some slightly different benefits. But the acetyl L-carnitine, there are some wonderful studies showing great effects on brain health, including memory. However, L-carnitine is also very good. L-carnitine is an amino acid, and there is some in the diet, although if you're vegetarian, you're not getting L-carnitine. So if you are a vegetarian, supplementation with L-carnitine is very important. L-carnitine is important for cardiac function in particular. There are other components in the diet that are important, or I should say nutrients that are important for mitochondrial function. Alpha-lipoic acid is another very interesting nutrient. Lipoic acid is very important, for example, in helping in one area of the body's function that I'm very interested in, and that is the area of glycation. Now, what glycation is basically a process where the body's proteins tend to break down. If anyone has ever toasted bread or browned a piece of meat, that browning reaction is actually what glycation is all about. And a lot of people are amazed to know that a similar type of reaction occurs in our body. It's a particular consequence in diabetes. Patients with diabetes tend to have accelerated levels of glycation in their body. And that's very important. The reason for that is that it directly correlates to their risk of developing neuropathy, which is a painful damage to the nerves that happens in diabetes, retinopathy, which is damage to the retina, and the retina is very important for vision, eyesight. We also have damage to heart muscle that occurs in diabetes too. Patients with diabetes are much more likely to have heart disease and heart attacks than people who don't have diabetes. And one of the reasons for that is this phenomena known as glycation. So alpha-lipoic acid helps in that. There's very good data, for example, showing that individuals who have diabetes, who also have painful peripheral nerve damage, neuropathy, and if they supplement with alpha-lipoic acid, their symptoms are much improved, which is, again, to me, pretty fascinating. I mentioned a little earlier